know, with all the talk of assault weapons ban, what if the assault weapons ban passes? In many states, there's already been legislation either has gone through their Congress and their state senates or is pending. Or there are other states that have already made it state law, and you can't have anything over 10 rounds. So we're going to take a look today at 5 of my recommendations and 5 rifles I particularly have that would be good for a post-assault weapons ban. Now we're going to take each of these rifles and I'm just going to talk a little bit about it and what rifle I would rather have first and foremost on down to the last one and some of the attributes of each one. Now one of the first rifles I would choose in a post-assault weapons ban would probably be the SKS. It does have 10 rounds. It does have a fixed box magazine for those 10 rounds. Yes, TAPCO makes an extension for 20 and 30 rounder, but this gun is made to only fire 10 rounds. It is semi-automatic. It's really accurate for the round it shoots, which is 7.62 by 3.9. This is similar to a 30-30. In fact, this purports accuracy and ballistics out to about 300 yards. I would give it a little bit less than that, but still, this is a very plentiful round even today. In today's standards compared to just a couple of months ago, this is getting harder to find, but this is more plentiful than your 5.56 or 223. And usually, because a lot of it's in steel cased, you can get it pretty reasonably. So an SKS, 10 round magazine, semi-automatic, decent ammo that's being imported, this is my #1 choice. The bolt system on this is exceptional. Here you have a place to stitch your stripper clips. You can push rounds down into the action itself, into this box magazine. So these are really made tough. In fact, these were made right before the AK-47 was put out, and so these did not really see much service at all. Maybe right at the end of World War II, a little bit of these got loose, but typically these were used for Cold War. Most of them are stored away. These were used in Vietnam, and I'm sure they were used in Korea as well. So some of the Asian models have seen combat and were used. The sight system on here is the typical AK style with a ramp and a little dovetail. In the front is a globe covered post. Of course, this one does come with the bayonet. Many do not, but this is one option. Now, many states that aren't going to allow bayonets, you'll have to remove the bayonet itself. But this still is an excellent rifle. Tons of accessories for these. TAPCO is really good at putting out a lot of different accessories for the SKS. But this is something that would be good for a post-assault weapons ban as far as having for your personal defense weapon. Now, next on the list would be a good M1 Garand. Shoots 30-06. This was what the American forces issued during World War II. Battle proven. It is large, but it does shoot a 30-06. 8 rounds in an en-bloc clip. As soon as those 8 rounds are expended, the clip pops out. You can take another clip and pop it in. So this is a pretty quick way to reload, so it's a pretty fast rifle. 30-06 is renowned for a great big game round, and it also has a really good flat trajectory. So the 30-06 is an excellent long-range option. Now, optics are fairly difficult to mount to these. They can be done. Typically, the receiver has to be drilled. Unfortunately, the price on this is going to be a little bit extravagant, usually around the $900 up to $1,100 and $1,200 range. And you can imagine in a post-assault weapons ban scenario, this rifle is going to go up in value. Even though the M1 Garand is my personal favorite, I would still probably choose the SKS because of the stripper clip option and because the ammo is so inexpensive and much more available. Now, a light and handy option that's a real favorite among American hunters is a little 30-30. This is a little Marlin 30-30. Excellent tube-fed magazine, lever action. It's quick, it's dependable, and it can really get rounds out very quickly. This similar action was what won the West in 45-70 or 45 long Colt. So these are excellent little handy, lightweight carbines. One of the good things too about this type rifle is it takes away the tactical look to it. So you're much less to cause a lot of problems if you're in an urban or in a suburban scenario walking around with a little lever action rifle. Here's the 30-30 cartridge. Really, these are around about 150 to 200 yards, effective for deer, but you can get it on out there to about 300 if you really had to. Very similar to the SKS, which is the 7.62 by 3.9. An excellent option. In fact, this may be just a great backup gun to have regardless. Of course, with the lever action, it's really quick. Your rounds go in here, down into the tube, hold 6 or 7 rounds, be able to load these in very quickly, then it throws them out. Typically, these are very easy to mount a scope. Usually they do have the receiver already drilled and tapped to be able to put a scope on it. And here you can see this low riding scope, but then you'll need to be able to get to the hammer, and they have these little hammer extensions that are really nice to be able to grip them. Of course, this one has a composite stock to it already, so this is really an updated version of the old wood, but the wood is excellent as well. Now, of course, similar rifles come in the .35 Remington. They also come in a .357 and a .44 Magnum. That would be an excellent round as well. But the one thing about the 30-30 is there's so many out there, you can usually get these around the $300 range on the used market. And 30-30 ammunition is not only available in most of your gun shops, but also in Walmarts. Now, another rifle, and to me, just a real America's favorite, mainly because of the price of these old rifles for the quality you get, are the old Mosin Nagants. These are old Russian or Soviet bloc rifles. They've been coming into the country in droves. These things are typically less than about $100. Unfortunately, they are starting to dry up and they're getting harder to come by. In fact, one of the gun shops that I go to quite often is the South Carolina Gun Company, which he specializes in these old Nagants. And they went up from $129 to $169. I was in there this afternoon. Still, for $169, and for the ammo, which this ammo is 7.62 by 5.4, and it is about the same ballistics as a 30-06, kind of in between that and a 308. Excellent ballistics. You can still get this surplus, very reasonable. In fact, we were paying about $4 for 20 rounds for this, buying this from AIM Surplus. Last time I checked, they were out. But you can still find some of this around for very reasonable prices. I've even seen this at Academy Sports. But an excellent bolt action rifle. It does hold 5 in the magazine, and so it's just a really excellent rifle for the quality. You can also find accessories, tons of accessories for these, where you can cut the barrel down. There's also a carbine version of this, the M44. There's also a lot of accessories you can get from Brass Stacker. Check out brassstacker.com. I've done some reviews on that with scope mounts, very easily mounted, and other accessories. And these are just excellent rifles. I highly recommend you picking up one of these regardless. But this would make an excellent post-assault weapons ban home defense rifle. Now, the old Mauser action is one of the strongest actions in the world, and there are a ton of different kinds out there. This is an M48 Yugoslavian Mauser. It's excellent. It's 8mm. You can find the old German K98s, and there are a lot of other different Swedish Mausers. Tons of different guns out on the market. These have been going up in value over the past few years, but they are very strong, very accurate. The one thing I do like about this is this scope mount setup, and this really brings this rifle in to an excellent home defense setup. You can also use the Scout design on the Mosin Nagant as well. The action is extremely strong, like I've said. A lot of them have straight bolts, some of them have the curved. It does have a 5-shot box magazine that's integral to the rifle. The wood on these is very durable. This is made for combat. They have the bayonet lug, so we don't want to tell the guys in Washington they may try to ban these, but here's the bayonet lug. You can put a bayonet on it. And 2, this also fits within those that would be kind of friendly to those who would be necessarily urbanites or suburbanites, not thinking that this was a tactical type rifle. Of course, there's a lot of other options that you can use. There's a lot of different hunting, especially semi-automatic hunting rifles with little 5-round detachable box magazines. That would be an excellent option. But whatever you choose, pick a good system that works for you, because when it comes to your family, you need to be able to defend them in a tough situation. And reloading quickly is important. Having a system to be able to load your rifle quickly, just like this bandolier for this 30-30, even possibly a stripper clip setup for your Mosin, for your SKS, also for your Mauser, and then of course the old M blocks for your 30-06. Having a system set up ahead of time will really give you an advantage with these old type rifles. Now, these rifles are only as good as the amount of ammo that you have put back for them. Having a 1 box or 2 boxes of ammo is really inadequate. So you need to have at least about 500 rounds for these type rifles. Ammunition, I know, is very difficult to get right now, but if you look around, in fact, I was at 3 different gun shops this afternoon that did have ammo available. So don't count on just the big box stores where everybody's going. Go to your local gun shops. A lot of times you can find the ammunition you need. Now guys, this really sickens me to even have to make this video, even though I know some states are already facing this as law. Call your congressmen, call your senators, become active, do your part to stand for the Second Amendment. This is the fight of the decade, and we need to stand firm. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. this same scenario. That have integral box magazines, those are excellent as well.